The President's Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Well, let me think about this. First, they came out and said, there is no inflation. Next, they came out and said, inflation is just transitory. Next, they came out and said, it's transitory. Next, they came out and said, there is inflation, but it's transitory, it's going to go away soon. Now, they're saying that we have to make laws because inflation is out of control. And so it makes me scratch my mind, okay? Because all I know is that every time Big Brother makes bills and laws, it basically messes things up, okay? In every direction. Because if you look at a small business, when he buys something versus Big Brother, they overspend on everything. And at the same time, they mess things up, like the free market, what's going on with cryptos and, what's going on with so many different aspects where, people are getting beat up because they're just trying to be an entrepreneur, okay? So when I think about Big Brother is now going to help us reduce inflation, I'm just going to know that, hey man, the thing is about to get really, really ugly, okay? Because why would Big Brother want to reduce inflation when they were telling us there was no inflation? So maybe there's going to be hyperinflation. We're talking about high two-digit numbers. And that's what I've been telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to get to those levels, because if I can make the world economic idea just very simple, the petrodollar is what gives the world, America, the most power in the whole world, because everyone's using our money system and they're holding our money system, and which brings value to it, okay? However, we're printing this money system and we persuade, Saudis and the OPEC to only accept oil in the dollar. That's hence the petrodollar, and that's what really gives teeth to the dollar, because if you want to buy the only resources in the world right now to run your company, you run your electricity, you run your tanks, run your airplanes, you need this commodity. And the only way to get it is you need US dollars. Look at what's going on in Sri Lanka. They can't use their own money to buy oil, or they would. It would just print it up and get it. But America can, we can, right? Just we print it. And that's why we live the world that we live in. But now, the Inflation Reduction Act is just telling us that inflation is blowing up. I mean, I'm talking about it's going to get blown up. And the reason is because the Fed this time is different. They're not going to be able to pull on these levers to create booms and the busts. They can try to print more money. They can try to increase interest rate, but it's a chessmate situation. They just don't know about it, okay? And the reason I say that is because if you look at the world economy in just two ideas, okay? Layer one is the actual raw resources, the commodities, the gold, the oil, the gas, the rice, the coffee, the banana, the things that we actually need to live and survive and make stuff with, right? Then you have the layer two, which is what I call the paper, if you want it, the plumbing system, the Visa and MasterCard, the PayPals, the banking system, the Swiss system, and stuff like that. Well, the Western societies made a lot of money because we're the layer two, and the layer one doesn't get a lot of credit, but we all need the layer one to survive. So what's going on is that we create booms and busts because of us controlling the money printer for not only us in America, but for the world. But also we can control by, these leverage. But this time it's not going to work because, the raw materials in itself, we're at conflict with these countries that send us these raw materials, or they take the raw material and they produce something and then they send this to us. They produce the raw material, make the bike, and they send it to us. Or they make the computer, they send it to us, okay? So we're at conflict with those. So this is why Big Brother has to come out and make laws like they did in Germany because of hyperinflation, because things are about to get ugly, okay? And all I know is that when Big Brother steps in, they jack shit up. Excuse my language, they really jack stuff up. I mean, in 2020, when they came up with this bug thing, they caused all this inflation, okay? They, made us close our businesses down, they made us stay at home, and they printed a whole lot of money, and they handed it to everyone while they're printing money. They killed the supply. The people would stay home. There was not people producing stuff, and they caused a truly imbalanced economic situation. And this is why you're seeing crazy situations happening where you have high inflation. The economy slowing down. But if you look at the job market, like everyone's hiring, but I don't think so. Things are changing now when it comes to the job market. People are going to be getting massive layoffs, like I've been telling you guys for weeks and months. Okay, so this means that high inflation is coming to America. Big Brother wants to do something, and it's very, very scary because when they want to do something, it just means that we're going to have mandatory high prices for a long time, and it's not coming down. And the problem is that our shelves are going to be empty, okay? Because the producers of the world, China, we're in conflict with, thanks to Big Brother. The raw material of the world, we're in conflict with, okay, Russia. And so when you add that up, major problems for our shelves because a lot of people are indebted. Mommy and dad has to work. We already have so much inflation. If you go back, let's say to the 30s, or if you go back to the 50s, just look at the price of a car or price of a house in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you'll see like it's like a Bitcoin. It's just like going all the way up. They talk about Bitcoin wrong, but they never talk about how the stock market is like the Bitcoin. We go from the beginning of the stock market, it just shoots straight up. If you zoom out long enough, it is just like a Nike thing, you know what I mean? But it doesn't have the check part, it's just straight up. And same thing with real estate. So things are going to get ugly. If hopefully they don't. I don't want them to get ugly. It's going to be tough to live. However, a lot of these gurus are making money. They don't even realize what's happening around them because all they have is tunnel vision. While I'm able to step out and I'm able to zoom in multiple directions and not only listen to the propaganda here, but also listen to propaganda everywhere else and come up with my own conclusion where some people are not even willing to look what the Chinese are saying, what the Mexicans are saying, what the Germans are saying, what the Arabs are saying, what the Koreans are saying. It's very good to listen to everyone and then make your own decision versus to your own TV propaganda, in which I don't even listen to those guys. I don't even have a TV, guys. So I don't have no cable, no TV, and I roll like that. And so not that I'm better or anything like that, but just don't need that propaganda. But I do sit there and listen to some of these things so I can get an idea, okay, what's going on in the world, so I know how to position myself. So I believe that, inflation is coming. I believe that there's going to be shortages of food if things don't get resolved. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like that, we are having major problems in our economy in America. From the banking system to the debt system to the inflation system to the food shortages system to the pain that we've caused with other countries, and we're going to have to pay the reaper. And because of that, we're looking for, WW3. Unfortunately, our big brothers are looking for that. Some people say, Mike, you're crazy, but they are. Why are they causing so much tension all around the world? Like right now with, the House Senator going to, Pelosi going to China, Taiwan, right? When we already caused another conflict in Europe with Ukraine and Russia by NATO expansion, which we are the leaders of NATO, right? So when you think about that, we have a lot of problems in our economy. We gotta find a enemy to project it out so that people don't get mad at us. And these countries that, for example, China, they're having the same problems that we are having because they're copying our economic system, which is fractional reserve lending, blah, 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 blah. And they're having the same exact problem because they're not the world reserve currency. So when they're holding our money and we print so much money, they lose purchasing power. And that's why when we have inflation, we export that inflation out. If it's 10% here, which is not, well, that's what they say officially, right? Then it's 20, 30% over there. And so, in some countries it's even, massively high, like look at, Sri Lanka. So a lot of pain we've caused because of a massive printing press and our foreign policy, and even locally and abroad. And I don't understand it. So buckle up. I think that, if things don't get resolved, we are going into some hard times, like what I call the greatest depression ever, because we haven't seen stuff like that. And most people don't even know what hard times is, don't know what it is to go to a gas station where there's no gas. They can't even fathom that idea because we're in this era of we click, they deliver to our house. Anyways, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking the like button. Always remember, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you imagine. Romy, have a great day. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, hot tea, dude. Sweet tea. Peace.
Real quick, download my free book, Real Estate Investing for Beginners, the ultimate starter guide at myrealestatedojo.com, where I teach you how to find motivated sellers, buy their homes at a deep discount, and then have the seller become your own private bank. Subject to, get it now. One more thing, if you're looking for private one-on-one help when it comes to real estate investing, then consider joining my academy where you sit down with me one-on-one. 2, you get monthly coaching. 3, you get access to my best-selling courses. 4, you get access to my video library, and then the list goes on for just $97 a month. Join me now at mrnofluff.com. Lastly, the best six-figure side hustle, bicycle flipping. Want to see how? Here's a behind-the-scene video how I did it. Go to thebestsidehustle.mrnofluff.com. Now let's get back to the content.